What is going on, guys? Tchouk Master 22 here, and welcome back to the Grid Watchers podcast, episode number 5, to review the Chinese Grand Prix.
Not China!
It's not the Chinese Grand Prix, it's the bloody Bahrain Grand Prix. Already cocked up, anyway. Fuck's sake.
I take full responsibility for that one.
So, yeah, we caused messes around earlier thinking it was the Chinese Grand Prix when it was the actual Bahrain Grand Prix. So, yeah, I'm joined as usual by Causa LFC 96 and Secember. Unfortunately, Rixon has developed AIDS, so he won't be with us for this evening's race podcast. No, he's just hungover. So he's got a bit of
he's sat in front of the toilet, not on it. Just with his face buried in it. That's where he's been for the past about 12 hours. So
I'm sure that. But I'm sure he had a lovely evening.
I'm sure he had a lovely evening with women he'd never met and blokes wanting to punch his lights out. But
yes,
on to F1.
Changing saliva with men and women. Anyway.
God, this has really gone downhill, hasn't it?
Right, on to the Formula One. Bahrain Grand Prix, lads. One sentence to describe the race. Secember?
Better, but still miles away from what I want to see every Sunday.
Obviously, there's a lot of hyphens in that one word. Just by the way.
Yeah. Causa?
I'd say exciting.
That's not a sentence.
What,
very exciting. Very exciting. Period.
It was actually quite exciting for a very vast majority of that race.
It was, yeah. I'm going to go with controversial galore.
Yeah, that's actually a good synopsis of the race.
Yeah, I'll go with that one.
But generally, it was a much better race than Australia and China. Quite a few overtakes.
Yeah,
controversy, all sorts, wasn't it? Seb won the race.
Yeah, obviously.
Surprising or
no? Obviously, it can't be action all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that there's like five laps of stuff happening on track, and then 10 laps of nothing. And it's just if those intervals of 10 laps of nothing, and obviously those gaps of where nothing happens have only become bigger because of harder tires. If those gaps will become smaller, then F1 will be a lot better. But it's getting there, it's getting a lot better compared to Australia. We really were spoiled this weekend. I mean, crashes, retirements, and it had everything, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It was a much better race than we've previously seen. But we definitely got our predictions they were all wrong from what I remember.
I don't think anyone got a single
one. We all
right.
predicted Hamilton for pole. Bottas got pole, and then
from nowhere.
Well, to be fair, I think Hamilton was on a good lap and he cocked it up because he was
he was 2 seconds out in the middle sector from absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, and then we all said Hamilton would win, and then Vettel won.
It's strange. Every time I say Vettel's going to win, Hamilton wins. When I say Hamilton's going to win, Vettel wins.
Maybe the podcast curse you've got.
Yeah, maybe if I say Ricardo, then Max will win a race. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so we quite cocked up quite badly, didn't we? But on to sort of each team. Mercedes, it was all over the place this weekend, weren't they?
Yeah.
It wasn't a typical Mercedes outing, was it? Where, especially the past 2 races, where Hamilton has taken pole and Bottas has sort of been a bit nowhere, and then it's been Hamilton Vettel. It was weird. It was weird to just see it unfold throughout the weekend of Bottas taking pole from. We really weren't expecting that, and then Hamilton having to almost have a fight back against his teammate, and then Vettel.
Yeah, but Bottas, I mean, great driver. Don't get me wrong. Hardly makes mistakes, apart from last week spinning on the safety car. Fair enough, can happen to the best. But he was leading the train at a certain moment. Like, what was it, the first 10, 15 laps? And they were so slow. Vettel was so bored behind.
Yeah.
Well, but I can't overtake.
A lot of people were saying on Twitter that Bottas was purposely slowing down Vettel so then Lewis could jump him to sort of help him out. So I don't know whether he would
That's
do it.
actually a good shout.
I don't
You don't
know.
think?
I don't think he'd do that. I think that's very much against
Yeah, but the
sort
thing
of
is,
nature. I reckon he'd want to just
Bottas
dominate the race.
Bottas has the pace. I mean, he's shown it Saturday, and then on Sunday he's suddenly 5 seconds a lap slower. I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying it. Maybe he just doesn't have race pace. That's possible as well. That maybe he gets spooked.
Yeah, it was. Are we saying Bottas is now officially second driver in that team?
Yes, always has been.
Mercedes, I think, are playing the long game of constructors because they know that, because that's what Mercedes care about, don't they? It's been said a number of times before that they don't care who wins the drivers as long as they win the constructors, because that's where all the money's at for them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they know Bottas won't win drivers' championship, and he's only there for one season. So I think that like you said, they're playing the safe game. But the team orders have to go. It was ridiculous. Fair enough. I mean, and I understand the theory about it. You know, why risk losing points?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the theory about it, but or do it more subtle so that people don't know, or just don't do it. But this was blatantly calling, Bottas right foot of the throttle.
Yeah,
I
he
think
didn't make it easy though, did he? Where he could have let him go on the straight, but he did it round the.
It took him by surprise, didn't it? It really took him by surprise.
I think Hamilton needed a change of pants when he overtook Bottas.
It's a good job there wasn't a team radio and that of him going, "Oh fuck," just him screaming.
Nico, Valtteri, what are you doing?
What are you doing? I don't know. Whoever, teammate.
Yeah.
I think the team. Yeah, sorry, but I think the team orders were a number. I think they wanted, because obviously Mercedes trying to get as many points as possible. So I think that the only way they'd have done that is give Hamilton a chance of catching Vettel.
Yeah.
But I also think they're looking back to how Nico and Lewis's teammate sort of deteriorated over their time of, okay, we'll let you battle, but is that then necessarily what's best for both of you?
Yeah.
In terms of, because I think there's got to be a couple of times in the 3 years that they were together, like fighting for championships, that they were sort of holding each other up from getting more points. And then one was almost going to the other, well, why didn't you let me go? Because I was faster. I think Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary last season,
Hungary, where Nico was going, well, I need to get past because, I can catch up to the guy in front. Lewis was like, well, you're not close enough, mate. So I think they were looking back to that as well. Yeah,
but the Dutch TV commentator said as well, like, when it was time to actually pit, like last season, Mercedes were just so far ahead that they could, kind of set the strategy tone for the rest of the teams. Like, if we pit now, the Ferraris and the Red Bull will follow our lead. But Sunday, suddenly Ferrari made a ballsy move that worked out in the end, and then Mercedes suddenly had to follow suit, and they're not used to that.
Yeah. It was good to see, because it was very close up front. You had five, 6 cars: Merc, Red Bull, and Ferrari. All
2.5 seconds.
Yeah. When was the last time we saw that in F1? Those drivers being so close together. It was just fantastic to see, really.
Only being on a safety car, really, isn't it? Because Mercedes have just been far, far too dominant. And it's good to see that they've actually got some fighting to do.
I just say right now, Ferrari, good job on the strategy this weekend. But I mean, 1 out of 3 where they. Oh no, wait. First race win for Vettel was an alright strategy from Ferrari. Don't balls it up like you did last season, please, because that really screwed the 2 drivers over a few times.
Yeah, they're getting it right this season.
They're getting it all right. Yeah, that's why that's why I hope they don't screw up, because I like seeing the battle between Mercedes and Ferrari. But Red Bull, unfortunately, and I think Tchouk, you being a Red Bull fan as well, we'll just have to accept the fact that Red Bull will just snatch a few podiums here and there, nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, I think on the topic of Red Bull, it sort of shows how far as a team they're behind the front two.
Yeah.
Because, Ricciardo and... I guess maybe it's between the drivers, Verstappen and Ricciardo. Verstappen was there, Ricciardo was lagging a bit further behind.
Yeah.
But I've seen interviews with Christian Horner, and they're getting updates soon
Yeah, they're getting a
but
new.
They're still behind, aren't
what
they?
is it?
It's frustrating.
It's something new in the power unit that they're still running with a 2016 part.
Oh, I see.
It's something to do with the power unit. It's a tiny
Probably
tiny
their
part.
MG UK or something like that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but they're running with a 2016 part. Obviously, you're going to notice it. But I think it's important for Red Bull now to keep harmony in the team, and you can sense it when they give interviews. Both Ricciardo and Verstappen say the same to the media, like, we're down on power at the moment, but if we lock down P5, P6, we can still tag to the bag of Ferrari and Mercedes, because they're constantly battling it out. It's not like Mercedes or Ferrari are running away with it. No, they're keeping each other close. So Red Bull just wants to tag along with that, and that's fine. They just have to keep the harmony. And I'm fine with being down on power because of an engine part or a power unit part that you're missing. What I'm not fine with is other parts of the car breaking, because that's just not Red Bull worthy.
Yeah. And we saw that with the brakes failing.
Yeah,
What did he say to the Dutch media? I really needed to pay more attention then. But he gave an interview. But no, he was apparently his manager said, obviously he is still young, but his manager said, calm down for a bit first. He went to the pit wall to his engineers, went to Christian. They had a nice chat about it, and you saw him cool down. Like every time the camera shifted to him, you saw that smile appear again. And then he came in front of the cameras, which is a good move. I think if you would have interviewed him straight after the incident, it wouldn't have been as well.
Yeah, interviewed him as soon as he got back on the little bike they have. It would have been a very different interview.
Yeah, but apparently all his brake... how do you call it again?
Fluid?
No.
Brake by wire?
Brake balance, sorry. Apparently it all shifted to the front at some reason.
I see.
Yeah, you can't run a race.
Nothing from the rear.
Yeah, he just got nothing at all.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't work on a street car. Imagine on a Formula 1 car.
Yeah. Again, talking about the winners now, Ferrari, Vettel, it's just a great driver, but do you think you still would have won if Lewis didn't have that penalty?
Yes.
Would you still think? Okay.
Ooh, wow, that's a question, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a great performance by Ferrari. It's going to make this season really tasty between Ferrari and... I think it is a 2-horse race until Red Bull pick it up, but for now it's a 2-horse race, and Ferrari are just up there. Kimi he's out of it, but Vettel is all there, raring to go, ready to try and get a title again.
Yeah.
I am 100% convinced that if Ferrari don't win the Constructors this year, it will be because Kimi Räikkönen is currently having an absolute shocker.
I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. He's a bit out of it really. He had issues after the Chinese Grand Prix that he got in a bit of trouble with. What's his name? I'm trying to think. Pochettino, but that's the Tottenham manager. Arriva Bene. There we go. Arriva Bene. Close. Arriva Bene. Yeah, he had to have a talking to because of his comments, but he's just not there, is he? He was fighting with Massa a lot of the time during that race.
Yeah.
He's just not there anymore. I don't think. I think
he's go. I don't know. He's. I think he's losing the drive that he had.
Yeah. I think so.
Because he's always been Mr. Iceman. He's always been cool and collective, but you can always see that drive from him, that willingness to push. Also,
in the last 2 seasons, he's always been second driver at Ferrari. Maybe that bites at him a bit.
Maybe. But at the end of last season, you would argue that he was better than Sebastian.
Yeah, at some races he was a lot better.
He was really good, and you were sort of thinking, if he's that good at the end of last season, he's been given that extra contract. What's he going to be like this season? And he's not lived up to, I think, what we were hoping.
Yeah, but also personality-wise, like to the fans, like neutral fans. I mean, not the tifosi from Ferrari. Last season, Vettel was a crybaby, and Raikkonen was the Iceman. Cool, collected, calm. Now that Vettel's, he's got his... I don't know what he's done, but he's got his head sorted.
He's in a competitive car, isn't he? He's in a car that can win races, so he's like,
in general,
now.
Yeah, and in general, to media, he's a lot more calm and not friendly. He was always friendly, but you know what I mean? A bit more banterous to the media as well.
He has. I've noticed that. Yeah.
Whereas last season it was always car this or other drivers that. But now really the difference between Raikkonen and Vettel is really showing, not only on track but also off track.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
Well, then, mind you, the past few seasons, if you watch funny interview sessions and stuff like that, and that bit in Canada with Lewis, that Vettel does have quite a lot of banter with Lewis, and only a little bit with Rosberg, and sometimes that actually turns into a bit of almost like a small baby argument.
Yeah.
But yet with Lewis, they'd sort of have a laugh a little bit. There was, I think, because they both respect each other, maybe more than Vettel respected Rosberg, because Hamilton won 2 world championships in a row. Rosberg
they're both multiple world champions.
Yeah,
3 and 4 respectively.
Yeah, if you look, just going through the rest of the grid, really, the main talking points. Stroll and Sainz's crash. What are we thinking? Sainz got a 3-place grid penalty at the end of after the race. In my opinion, Sainz fault. Just dive bombed into turn 1 coming out the pits. Stroll had, even if Stroll had tried to dodge Sainz, I think Sainz was still hit him.
Still a collision.
What do you guys think?
Well, we were talking about this before, because you hadn't seen it, had you, Secember, until about
no
20 minutes ago.
Half an hour. Yeah, I wasn't at home. I was stuck in traffic.
Yeah. Me and Sheep were going, Sainz fault, and you looked at the video once and sort of went, yeah, I can sort of see, and then you looked at it 5 or 6 times, and your opinion sort of changed a little bit of whether it was more of 50-50.
Yeah, speed-wise, I mean, as for the decision of the FIA giving Sainz a free place grid penalty, fine. Don't discuss it, accept it, done. I think that's the best thing to do, because it's true, he bashes the side of him. But, on the other hand, there's 2 things to this story. Yes, Sainz come out of the pits at a ridiculous pace at the corner. But he takes the inside of the corner, really close to the curbs, to avoid Stroll. So, that's to his advantage. He at least tries to avoid. On the other hand, there's no way Stroll can see him. No way at all. I mean, they're stuck in a cockpit with tiny mirrors. Fair enough. Stroll turns in, Sainz turns in. There's a collision. If the FIA would have said, no further action, they would lose face, obviously, because it's not a racing incident. It's a dive bomb, is it? So
someone's crashed into someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that you say, even if Stroll would have left him space, you two think they still would have touched. I mean, it's difficult to see because it didn't happen. I do think there might have no contact, and if there would have been contact, it would have, only be a loss of end plate for Sainz, and he would have been fucked because he had to go back into the pits anyway for that. But now that I rethink my own words, crashing into an end plate can result in a puncture. So I do think that punishing Sainz was the correct decision, and I do think from Sainz's point of view, he doesn't need to complain about this. Just accept it, move on. You're a good enough driver to come back from 3 places. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Sainz is a good driver, but because it's really weird, because we were absolutely slating Stroll for the past 3 weeks.
I know, yeah.
We've been slating him, and then he has a crash, and when you'd go, Stroll and Sainz crashed, you go, what's Stroll done now?
Yeah,
actually, there is nothing
he could have done.
Nothing at all Stroll could have done to avoid it, reduce it, anything. Because for him, he's turned into a corner with no one up his inside.
He wasn't doing that bad up until that lap.
He was doing all right, not as well as Massa. Could we just take a minute to appreciate Felipe Massa? Come out of retirement, sort of probably already having all of his holidays booked for the next 20 years.
Yeah,
and he's gone. Oh bollocks! I'm going to have to get in this car again. That I owned before, but now I've got a new one.
On the topic of Massa, there's some spicy... Well, I wouldn't call it beef. It's not that bad. Between Massa and Verstappen.
I think there always has.
Because Verstappen said in Q3 that Massa slowed him down a bit, which didn't give him enough speed into the last corner to start his flying lap. I mean, it happens. It's racing. You're not alone on track. Fair enough. And at that point, obviously Dutch people all love Max. At that point, most of the Dutch people were like, "Oh, be careful. It can happen, but don't have a go at the media about Massa personally." But he ended his interview saying like, it's racing, it can happen. Fair enough. And then Massa replied to him in another interview. Sometimes I wonder if these people ever talk face to face, but in another interview, like, Massa doesn't take it personally, that he's like, it doesn't matter, like you said, it's racing. But Massa did warn Verstappen, if he outs stuff like that towards Brazilian drivers, that he has to be careful for the Brazilian crowd who don't take stuff like this easily. That's basically the synopsis of the race. Like, imagine like 30 years back, if YouTube would have existed and you slammed Senna on a podcast, Brazilian people would find you and kill you.
Senna wasn't just a god to
Senna was
F1
a god.
fans. He was
a god to Brazil.
He was Brazil. He was
Brazil.
At the time, he was Brazil, wasn't he? So,
but that's what Massa meant in that interview. Brazilian people are really proud of their country and what their sportsmen achieve.
Yeah, someone that succeeds in Brazil is
exactly
everything.
And it wasn't a threat, far from it, but it was just like, maybe also, I mean, Massa is really experienced. Maybe also a little warning to Max, like, choose your words, but not a threat, but more like pointers. I think I wouldn't expect Massa to be out looking for beef. Far from it.
He had some with Lewis before, though, didn't he? So. That was because they had so many crashes on track. To be honest, they kept just crashing into each other.
On topic of Lewis and crashes.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Okay. No. Well, not.
What
crashes.
A dickhead.
Oh, with the pits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Give him a Stroll and not a Formula 1 car.
He knew what he was doing.
Yes, of course he did. Yeah, but the funniest thing on Twitter was all the Lewis fans were just like, "Oh, he was a safety car, he was a leading car, he's allowed to do that." You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to unnecessarily slow people down into the pits. What are you doing, you absolute jeb end? Honestly, it was, that really. On Twitter, I just wanted to reply to all those Hamilton fans. There were so many. It was just like,
I think
there's so many of them, and they breed.
It's ridiculous, yeah, and they just breed more, don't they, by infecting? But
this is the moment I'm happy Rixon not here, because he would just blow up.
Hi, Rixon. But I think it was XMAG that replied to a tweet about, but it was a safety car and he didn't lose any time, and it's like, no, but it's not if they lose time, it's still. If you crash into someone, push them off the track, but then they catch up to the safety car and don't lose any time, you can't then go, but it didn't lose any time. So was it really a crash? Like, yes, it was a crash. Like you still broke the rules by slowing in the pit lane to about 4 miles an hour.
But can you imagine Ricciardo braking too late and smashing
into the back of him? That would be
Yeah, but all the Hamilton fans would go absolutely mental, and then it would be really difficult to prove that it's not Ricciardo's fault.
Can you imagine the scenes? Like,
but
just once again, Ricciardo hitting Lewis in the pit lane.
That would have been nice.
Limiters on, and he just speared into the back of it. And then you go, Lewis was going 20 miles an hour in a 60.
You would get like the shittiest crash ever. It would be like finished.
Yeah.
It'd be Canada 2007, wouldn't it? When the red light was on and Hamilton just speared into the back of Raikkonen.
But I have to say, once again, FIA, the move, the decision on Sainz, fair, good. The decision on Hamilton as well, 5-second penalty, either a 5-second time penalty or a 5-second stop-go penalty. Fine, nothing more, nothing less. And I do feel this season that the decisions they're making, like when it's under investigation, are a lot more consistent than they were last season.
I'll go with that.
They got their head out of their arse, let's put it that way.
Well, I think part of that is because they took the rule out of, if you have a racing incident, it is a racing incident. Like, if you go side by side and one of you ends up in a wall, then you're racing side by side, this thing happens. And it stopped them looking over every single incident that happens on a racetrack because it's by the rules. So they're going, this is a specific incident, we've got time to think about this. Like, they took most of the safety car.
When was it? It was Mexico last season, I think it was Sainz or Fiat that was side by side with someone onto the grass into turn. Wait, 1, 2, 3. After turn 3, you got the DRS straight, and they were side by side, but the track just sort of got smaller, and then you got grass, and someone pushed someone else into the grass. Yeah, that's not side by side. That's being an asshole.
That's not giving someone space.
Yeah, and then they were, should we give penalty? Shouldn't we? Should we? Shouldn't we? And at the end of the day, they gave a penalty. Twitter exploded, obviously.
Yeah.
Of course it did, yeah. One team we haven't talked about yet. Corsa, your team.
Do we have
McLaren,
to every week?
I'm sorry, we sort of do, because they're always just shit. But yeah, Van Dorn didn't even start. Just carded. I can't remember what the issue was.
They went through. Went through about 5 power units in the space of 3 days.
Yeah.
Like,
and then Alonso not making the finish, and maybe the best
Team radio ever.
Team radio ever. What was it?
Quite possibly.
We're going to go into Plan B now. How are the tyres doing? And then with Alonso with the reply, do whatever you want. It was just brilliant. He's so.
I've never raced with less power in my life.
Yeah,
that was also an interesting one.
That was the other one.
Yeah,
You've got 2 of the greatest team radios ever in the same race by the same driver.
Yeah,
like,
but he's got more. I was like, every time they cut to the team radio, they're like, oh, we got a team radio from McLaren. Just leave it on. I want to hear everything they say.
I want to hear everything, just constantly. I do.
But how can you say to your pit chief or to your pit crew with your team boss listening, probably all your investors watching, I've never raced with less power in my life. How? If I just got to put it out. I mean, Alonso, he's got every right of saying that. It's true. But if a rookie like Giovinazzi would say, this car is a piece of shit, or Van Dorn would say
Van Dorn
can you imagine? Can you imagine Van Dorn slamming McLaren Honda over team radio after 3 weekends?
Alonso, there is a lot of respect going for Alonso because he's pushing that McLaren higher than it should ever be.
He is McLaren.
Currently, he's the only reason that McLaren would ever get points. Because Van Dorn's a solid driver, but he's not. He's not Alonso.
He's not particularly quick, but he is solid though. I am looking forward to him for the rest of this. Yeah, when he actually starts. Did you see his post on Twitter? I absolutely shat myself.
Oh yeah, it was so funny.
He was on a treadmill going for a run. What are you doing this Sunday?
What are you up to? Oh, that was my favourite tweet of the weekend.
It was like halfway during the race as well. I'm like, why are you in your pit box?
It's just like, I'm just going to go on the treadmill for the entirety of the race.
Yeah, but it has to be painful if you don't even start. I would immediately leave the track as well. What do you want to do there?
Yeah. Secember, I was just wondering. You're from Belgium originally.
Yeah.
Are you more of a Van Dorn or Verstappen fan? Because you now live in Holland, but you're born in Belgium. Who would you pick?
Ooh, tough one. I mean, Van Dorn.
Been asked it.
Yeah, no, Van Dorn still has to prove himself, obviously.
Okay. We had quite a controversial debate in the Noob Journey chat whether you should support drivers from your own country.
Oh, yes.
And let us know in the comments below what you guys think about this. But personally, I don't think you should be allowed to support whoever you want to. Yeah. This is going to go really into politics now as well. So
to be fair, if Van Dorn, I mean, it's just that I dislike the McLaren caps or snapbacks. Otherwise, I will have one and wear one constantly.
I'll buy you one, Secember.
No, I've got the official Max, not the Red Bull cap because they were sold out for 20 years in advance. Yeah. I've got one of Max Verstappen's own caps. I mean, I wear it in public. I don't care because it's got no sponsors on it and it's clean. If Van Dorn brings it out, sure, I'll buy it, I'll wear it, and I will support him. The only thing I fucking dislike is his fucking nickname. Have you seen it?
No, what is it?
There is an actual anchor.
Stoffel Van Dorn. It's been ages since we had a Belgian in Formula 1, if we ever had one. It's your moment to put your country on the map as a fan, So you go across the world with Belgian flags, cheering on SV number 2, Stoffel Van Dorn. Guess what his nickname is?
Stuff the Waffle or something like that. I think that's what it was.
It's the fucking Flying Waffle.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's great.
That's horrendous.
Like, it's, you know, so many cool things. You know, what do we associate Belgium with? Beers? Fries? No, mate, waffles. Who fucking likes waffles?
Chocolate, to be honest.
Oh, chocolate, yeah. Yeah, you can't really call them dark chocolate, can you? Because that's a bit porn.
Milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
Mine's got to be Wales beating Belgium like 5 times in a row.
No, Wales didn't beat Belgium. Bale beat Belgium.
Oh, let's not start this.
Back to the debate. Stop.
That's far different.
Supporting drivers from your own country. So I don't support Lewis, but he's a British driver. But okay, it's gonna get deep now.
I vaguely do because he was there when I was growing up. But
yeah, but for me, I don't like to be known as British. I prefer to be known as Welsh. So I thought
you were from Portsmouth.
Fuck off. We're not starting this.
Anyway, yes.
So I like to be known as a Welsh European rather than a British person. So in that sense, I don't support Lewis because he's more English than Welsh. And personally, I support a team. Support teams. I support Red Bull, and I like drivers. I like Hulkenberg. I like Perez.
Yeah,
I don't specifically support
a single
driver. And I don't know what you guys think about this, but in the chat, people were having a right go at Rixon and one of the other guys. I
think it was me as well. I think there was
only
a couple of comments at me.
The driver, your country's driver. I think in football, you don't support.
Yeah, it's not Olympics, is it? You don't have to support.
Isn't it? It's not. What do you guys think? What Corso started? What do you think?
Well, for teams, sort of, but it's easier for me and you, Tchouk, because we're British, and I think it's 80% of the teams at the moment are based or develop everything in Britain. So it's sort of easy for us to support a team. I'm a McLaren fan because at the time that was one of the teams to beat. Hamilton was in there and he was winning races, so it was sort of like a double whammy. And I just like the way that they just enjoyed the sport with, win a race, they wear just this bright orange stuff, and I just love that they won and they just made sure that they sort of everyone knew about it by walking around in bright orange. It just made it fun for me, and the McLaren were the team to beat. But I wouldn't say Hamilton's my favourite driver. Button was, because he was just a cool guy, to be honest. He was down to earth. He was just funny in interviews. I mean, he's got a life outside it, i.e., constantly running Ironmans and speeding in Ironmans. But for me, drivers, I'm a Hulkenberg fan. I like Nico Hulkenberg because he's really down to earth, and he's just loving being in F1. He's to be fair, not many people get this chance to be in F1 for as long as I do, and to be sort of hyped sometimes. Not enough for me, as much as he is. So I like Hulkenberg, and
Did you guys know, by the way, Hulkenberg is German, yeah?
Yeah.
But when he gives interviews to Dutch TV, he does them in Dutch and actually quite fluent.
Oh, really?
He
might have.
I think he used to live there. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But he's actually a really likeable guy.
About this whole supporting the driver from your country?
Maybe it's a bit different for me because, Belgium is not as big as England or United Kingdom. But I will support Van Dorn, obviously.
I would just say now that I will not support Jolyon Palmer. Just so I put that in there right now.
We'll support Jolyon Palmer because utter shite.
I do support Mac. The fact that he's Dutch is a plus. Although sometimes, and I have to say on Twitter or Facebook, I am ashamed of some other Dutch people who only watch F1 because of him. But the fact that he's Dutch is a plus. But I'm more fan of his backstory. Going from go-karts, earning his seat, and and then growing, and his driving. So that's what you said, Duke, that you support a team, but like a driver.
Yeah.
And I will support Stoffel because I really see potential in him. But other than that, on the grid, obviously you got Hulk and Massa, who I got loads of respect for. But in general, there are more drivers that I dislike. But not because of driving, but more because of how they act outside of F1. If it makes sense, the whole Lewis being on Snapchat during a drivers' meeting. Haha, it's funny. No, it's fucking annoying. It shows no respect to the meeting, does it?
Yeah, it's like I've got better things to do. There's one driver none of us have mentioned, which I actually completely forgot about, is Daniel Ricciardo. Like, I really like Daniel Ricciardo for the same reason I like Nico Hülkenberg, for the fact that
he's likeable.
He's just like, I'm racing for Red Bull. Like, who else gets that chance to race for Red Bull in a really competitive car? And he's just got a grin on his face, and he's just loving life. He's like,
I like Ricciardo as a teammate of Max. I think they bring out the best in each other.
Definitely. They are the strongest pairing on the grid. Yeah.
The only person that, what was it, Red Bull on Facebook or on Twitter, I can't remember, posted a picture of the 4 members of their Formula 1 teams, walking like the Beatles did on their album cover. The only one that doesn't fit in there, in my opinion, is Kvyat.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really likes Kvyat, to be honest. I don't know when all that's going. Who's your favourite driver? Oh well, I think it's Danny Kvyat.
Yeah, unless you're Russian, that's the only thing.
Yeah, but even at Russia, you don't see I don't know, but I think if Kvyat doesn't step up his game, he's gone next season because Gasly is definitely steaming up the ranks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is Sainz's last season in F1. Not in F1, but in Tour also.
Yeah,
So that's Gasly's.
We've discussed that before.
Yeah, we discussed it before.
One thing I did want to discuss, but let us guys know. Let us know what your thoughts about the driver in your own country thing in the comments below. Also, Alonso to IndyCar. Is McLaren letting him go to keep him interested in the sport?
Yes, I think so.
They're letting him go to make him happy. I think.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Media was going absolutely mental.
That happened because he wouldn't have allowed it at all.
Oh well, to be honest, I don't think if Bernie was in charge right now, I would say to Bernie that I don't think it's really any of his business. That
he couldn't forbid it, can he?
He can because he did. Where?
Oh, can he?
He can. I think he could because last year, so 2 years ago, Hülkenberg was in Le Mans
and won it,
racing and won. And then the year after, Bernie Ecclestone made sure that there was a race on the same weekend as Le Mans, so he couldn't race again.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. So
but the fact that we're not talking about Malaysia or anything. I mean, it's Monaco that he's giving up.
Yeah. And it's one of the few tracks he could actually get points at. Well, a good haul of points.
Yeah. But I do think I think it was you who shouted it, Causa, that they're doing it to keep him happy, and I think that's the only reasonable explanation.
I think Liberty Media are almost rubbing their hands together because what they really wanted was to make F1 really popular in America.
Yeah,
make it huge. And then if they're going, well, on our Indy 500 in America, we're having an F1 driver, they can hype that to the moon and back.
Yeah, and it's same vice versa as well, because a lot of Europeans now will watch the Indy 500 because of Alonso. So it's good for both parties. I'm sure Liberty Media, like you said, Causa, are
but
loving
Dutch media were going absolutely mental about it, and I mean I can understand about that it's not really a smart move, and it isn't. Let's be honest. Indy 500 is nowhere near Formula 1 in terms of like safety and everything, because they had former Formula 1 driver, I don't know if you know him, Robert Dornbos.
Yeah.
He's in the studio and he said and the other one, Tim or Tom, their brothers, Coronel. One of them went to the Indy 500, had 1 or 2 test days, got on the plane and left, and he was like, "Fuck that, I'm not doing this."
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
it's not obviously they've got these big concrete walls.
Yeah, but obviously if it was 10, 15 years ago, it was probably 10-ish years ago. Fair enough. But both of them, they're both experienced race drivers. Both of them went personally wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, a British guy died a few years ago. I think 4 years ago, someone died.
I actually can't remember who that is.
I don't remember his name, but I knew he hit one. Like Secember said, he hit one of the concrete posts. But I don't know. I think Alonso wants to win the Triple Crown. That's what I read. He wants to win Le Mans.
What's the other one? It's IndyCar. Is it IndyCar, Le Mans,
and F1? I think Jim Jim Clark is the only person to ever done that.
Yeah.
Right. How long ago did you say it was?
4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, in 2010, someone. Oh. Well, this is interesting.
It might not have been the Indy 500. It might have been another.
Yeah. But is
event,
it anyway? It was no powered by Honda Championship event. Indy 500, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Yeah. No, but 2010 someone died, 2004, 2003, so even with new safety rules, it's yeah.
Dangerous because they're going so fast, aren't they? They're constantly going that speed, so yeah.
Yeah, and that was just at Indy 500. The list of Indy series, just everywhere, list of fatalities is. I'm still scrolling for the last 20 seconds.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Just to finish off this podcast, lads, I wanted to talk of the Russian Grand Prix. Not the most exciting Grand Prix of the last few years, has it? So it's 2 weeks' time. So, and it's going to get even worse with these cars. So
Lap 1 is going to be interesting, and that's about it.
It was great in the Noob Journey season 1, but that was I don't think the race will live up to the Noob Journey.
Yeah,
but,
this isn't quite the Noob Journey. We did go 42 minutes currently of me recording my audio before there was a plug, but nearly successful.
We went 42 minutes, so that's good.
Yeah, but yeah,
No, I don't know. I don't know how the weather will be. The teams probably already know. But if it's going to be an all-dry race with only one stop, what are the tyres? Soft, super soft, obviously.
Ultra. No, they're getting their ultras.
Oh yeah, they're getting their ultras. Fuck yeah.
Ultras that will go about 80% of the race. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
what's even the point?
There's just no need anymore for taking the risk in Q2 qualifying on a softer compound, is there?
No, there's no point, is there? It's just no point. That
Like
whole
basically-
3 tyre rule that was incredible last season.
Yeah.
There's no
Like
point.
cause it, especially, sorry, wrong word. Basically, our tactic that we do in online racing in the Noob Journey for qualifying on a harder compound and going longer in the race, it's fine in a game, but it doesn't work anymore in real life.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No,
It's a shame.
no.
It is a shame.
But I think if it's gonna rain, good. I'm really hoping for some rain. Otherwise, I expect very few overtakes. Or the typical 2017 overtakes. DRS, dive bomb.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see an overtake around the outside of what is it? Well, it's still turn 2, isn't it? Oh no, wait, turn 1 is actually the long. Turn 3 it is then.
Let's say the turn 3 very very long hairpin.
Yeah, that one around the outside. Can you imagine?
They are going to
Bottas
be
and-
on rails through that. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, Bottas and Kimi have had quite a bit of beef the last few years around Russia, so it'd be interesting to see that. But on to predictions for the Russian Grand Prix.
Ooh,
Cause up,
wait.
Pole,
Sorry for
32nd.
interrupting.
Oh, changing it.
Yeah, yes. Before, now that you say with a bit of beef, it's might be a painful return for Kvyat to Russia, isn't it? Because he lost his
of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
he lost his Red Bull seat there
last
last year.
season, yeah.
What a great shout again! Fucking hell, we're sharp. He lost his Red Bull seat and finished. Was it that race that he went? No.
Crash with Vettel.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah,
was.
crashed
It
into
was.
Vettel and then lost it about a day after, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh no, it was there that the meme started. Started in the Red Bull, went to Toro Rosso, and then finished the season on the bike when he nicked that bike.
That was
Yeah,
one,
yeah, I remember.
yeah. That's
All
the
right.
podcast title sword, Kvyat's Revenge.
Kvyat's revenge.
Thank you for that. You give me a chance to think of a top 3. Thanks, December. I'll pay you for that one later.
Yeah.
God then calls a top 3 and pole for the Russian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time.
Pole position, I am going to go for.
Whoops.
Mum on the mic.
Yeah, pole position, I've got Sebastian. I'm going to go Vettel.
Okay,
And then
interesting, but yeah.
top 3, Jesus. Alright, let's go. Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Kimi Raikkonen.
Ooh, interesting.
Why did you go for Kimi? He's shit. Why? December.
Pole position. Hamilton.
Yeah.
Because the Mercedes just still have that little extra in quali. And then top 3 is gonna be Vettel in first, Hamilton second, and I'm going to keep with it Max in third.
Still trying for Max.
Yeah.
No one's.
I'm actually going to agree with Secember. Exactly the same prediction. Hamilton, Vettel. Yeah, Hamilton pole, Vettel to win, Hamilton second, and Max on third. I just see Max. Yeah.
Especially if it rains. I'm still hoping for rain.
I could be in for some points.
Yeah.
I can't remember. What does the table look like currently? Rixon's on 4. I think everyone else
4
is on
and then
2,
the rest
from
is
what I
on
remember.
2. I'm so hoping Kimi Räikkönen pulls through for me.
Yeah.
I think Kimi's going to come back with a vengeance. I think.
Yeah, it could be the lead you need in the table right now.
Yeah.
Can I just end on an interesting thing?
Go on in.
Going back to Alonso going to Indy. I've got an interesting Wikipedia page here. So 3 incidents in the last... it's 2017. 11 years. 2 times in IndyCar and once in the IRL. The last 3 fatal accidents were in a Honda car. I really hope Alonso comes back in one piece.
No.
I really hope he comes back in one piece. And that he doesn't drive a Honda. Oh yeah, he will, because of contract issues.
He's driving a McLaren Honda Andretti, isn't he?
Yes.
Oh, imagine him going on the team radio there and just going, nope, still not enough power.
Imagine.
It'd be so funny.
It's a bit dark to end on, but I really hope he comes back in one piece, because
hopefully.
Alonso is Formula 1.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say every Spaniard who's ever raced in Indy 500 has died. But yeah, the Honda...
no, not... oh no, we're fine, not a single Spaniard. Loads of Americans.
Understandably.
Yeah. Well, I think that ends it. It was quite a long podcast today, 48 minutes. Well, thereabouts.
But clean as well.
We do this outro.
Anyway, no, it wasn't clean, Secember. You had an absolute rant halfway through.
Yeah, I do it every week, don't I? But I just get excited when I start talking about Red Bull.
Yeah, so I think we'll end it there. Thanks guys for joining me for the podcast. Don't forget to check Corsa LFC 96 and Secember and Rixon. He's not here, but I'll put him in the description. Just, we're being nice. Put him in the description as well. So check us all out, all on Twitter, and let us know your thoughts on the podcast, if we can improve it. Put it in the description as well. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the Russian Grand Prix review. Good night.